Welcome to another episode. Today we are going to talk about narcissistic personality disorder. And in front of me, I have here Madam Lucy Muriizi. Yes, she's a counselor, and she has personally dealt with clients or people who have gone through narcissistic personality disorder or are in an abusive relationship with a narcissist. Thank you for having us here.
Thank you so much. My name is Lucy Ngatia, or Mama Muriizi. I want to correct that. And I am a nurse, stroke counselor. I work in Kenyatta University. And literally, it is very important to create awareness about a narcissistic and narcissistic personality disorder.
All right, thank you. We'll start with the first question. What is a narcissistic personality disorder?
Well, a narcissistic personality disorder, actually, it's a behavior that is characterized by self-glorification, or somebody is really bloated with self-love, and in his thoughts, no one else matters, whether it is hurting them, but it has to be them. It has to be me, as much as I have narcissistic personality disorder. Yes.
All right. Types of narcissistic personality disorders, because I hear there are like a few of them. So, would you like try and show us or explain to us the types of narcissistic disorders that are there or that are known rather?
Thank you so much. We have about 6 or 7 types of narcissistic personality disorders, and we will start with toxic narcissistic personality. A toxic, as much you understand the word toxic, it is something very bad, and it does not bring out a big picture or a good picture to whoever is having that clique of toxic narcissistic personality. It's a person who is full of anger. It is a person who do bad things to other people. It's a person who does not feel other people's pain. And it's a person who is very, very arrogant, who can literally see you hurt and they don't give a damn. It is about them, and the world revolves within themselves. And 24/7, they hurt people. But unfortunately, they are not aware that they are hurting people. Another narcissistic type is what we call closets. A closet is someone you may not know that I have narcissistic personality disorder. But what we mean by a closet is where we lock up things. They are so locked within themselves, but more importantly, they live a very fake life. They want to shine above every other person. They want to be noticed. They're the people who actually want to cheat. They live a masked life, that they care much about other people, but unfortunately they do not do that. They behave like martyrs. They behave like angels. Yet, they are very jealous inside themselves. They just want to fight and see they're the only people who are successful. No one matters. And to them, it is all about me, I and myself. They do not reflect the feelings and the needs of other people. But they have to be seen as successful. And they will pretend to be very good to you. And yet, inside them with your success, they are really hurting. They are really crushed. And they are not aware that they have a problem. There are people who can do anything to incur debts to please other people. And we refer to them as martyrs. We refer to them as do-gooders, or people who want to just do good to people because they don't imagine another person shining beyond them. Another narcissistic personality disorder is psychotic. A psychotic is actually literally a psychiatric or with mental issues. And this is a very aggressive person. They are people who inflict a lot of pain. They are arrogant. They are aggressive. They fight and provoke anger that can lead to wars and fights. Unfortunately enough, majority of the serial killers fall in this category of serial killers. Of a psychotic narcissistic disorder. We have another characteristics of another psychotic issue where we call it exhibition. exhibition narcissistic personality disorder. In exhibition narcissistic personality disorder, it's an area where you'll find that a person want just to be recognized. They are the people who will wear outshining or outstanding very bright colors. It is a quote unquote the one that is used by flamboyant preachers, that they wear purple colors, they are males, they wear yellow colors, and most of the time you'll find that they speak very loudly. And these people with exhibition, they just want to be recognized, and they want somebody to remind them that you're very smart, you're very good, I like your outfit, I like what you are. They will make hairs, they will make everything actually to be noticed. Whenever they pass, somebody will notice somebody somewhere past. They'll buy a yellow car, a purple car. That is very unique colors that are not with other people. And everything to them is very, very unique. The only thing that affects them so much is when now they do not get noticed. There are also people who take a lot of selfies, post them in the social media, and they don't feel good when they don't receive many likes, they do not receive many comments, and when they do not that, it's an indicator that brings them down. It's an indicator that sinks them down, and it can lead to depression. It can even lead to suicidal, owing to the fact that is why you find that many of them, people with that type of personality disorder, they may commit suicide when they do not get many likes. And that is why it is important that we understand the meaning of social media and our mental health. It more affects people with exhibition characteristics of a narcissistic personality disorder. Another one we have is bullying. A bully is somebody who actually do anything, even if it means killing, even if it makes other people lose jobs, even if it makes killing to get what they want. Mostly it affects people with deals. When you do a deal with somebody who is a bully or with a bully narcissistic personality issue, there's a likelihood that when the deal goes sour, you may find yourself missing. You may find yourself dying. You may find them hurting you so much, and they enjoy when they are inflicting pain to other people's emotional and livelihood. And therefore, it is very, very important to ensure that when you're dealing with the people, try to understand them. Try to understand all the above personality disorders so that you may be able to know what is wrong with me, what is wrong with them, and what really hurts them. And finally, we have seductive personality. Seductive narcissistic personality disorder is actually a person who comes into your life and they will show you that you're on the top of the game. It is only you and you alone. No one else matters. And now when it comes to such a case scenario, you will find that the moment they put you to the crown, you're on top of the game. You think I'm the only one. Only to find that this person with the seductive, the moment they get what they want, either to enslave you with the love or alternatively for sexual demands, the moment they achieve their goals, the moment they drop you like a thunder. And this is now the time you find that many of our young people are falling a victim of this. And the moment you hit rock bottom, retrieving yourself from the rock bottom of a broken relationship can now cause you a lot of emotional harm, a lot of mental breakdown, and you'll go a lot through many mental battles. And mental battles are so critical that no one understands them because they are actually unseen wounds, unseen scars. And you're fighting your battles alone, and you'll find that sometimes life can become really so complicated. Okay? We have another, they are not so much recognized, the vulnerable group. The vulnerable group is where you may have either a mild, each one of us, we have a narcissistic, but now it is controlled. It gives you the ability to have self-value, self-worth, and self-love. But now the moment you get love and you think, I may not get another one, you may find yourself still falling in the group of following a narcissistic who has literally tackled you so much, who has webbed you so much into their treats, and they're very good in apologizing. And they forget they apologized yesterday. If you take this, they are likely to hurt you more. And you are likely to fall a victim now of being vulnerable, to becoming a vulnerable narcissistic personality, disorder. But it is easy to salvage yourself with cognitive behavior therapy, psychotherapy, and a lot of support psychologically to you. We have another one, and it's also not so much recognized or so much talked about, where we are saying that somebody has indulged themselves with grandiosity. Grandiosity is self-pride, whereby you place yourself in a level that you might find yourself saying that, oh, this car is mine. This house belongs to me. It is just in the mind. It is not yours. They are very bold to even give a lie that looks like it is the truth. They are so bold that the lie they gave yesterday, they can give it tomorrow and defend it. They can be so defensive that when they are putting you into a fix being a vulnerable group, you may find that we trust more the grandiose person than the vulnerable person. And they are very good to external world as compared to the people within themselves. Those are actually the few types of a narcissistic personality that we have.
All right. Thank you so much. Still on the narcissistic personality disorder, because we have the narcissistic people rather, and I'm sure they have a certain trait or character they have. So can you take us through their traits, or rather how they behave, how a narcissistic person behaves, or their character rather?
We call them signs and symptoms. A narcissistic personality, a person who is a narcissistic. Remember, I said narcissistic was a young man from Germany who looked at his reflection in the water and saw how beautiful or handsome he was. And this is where now narcissistic personality came up with studies in his character and behavior. And then it was studied broadly. And people came to understand that people have issues that they don't know they have, because he had self-admiration. He had that bloating of self-worth, and no one else mattered to him. If we may look at people with narcissistic personality, how do I identify? Most of them, you may identify them, and some you may not be able to understand them. You may not be able to identify this is a narcissistic until you're within their circles. But more importantly, as I have said earlier, they are people who have got that self-worth. Okay? And they do not want any other person to outshine them. They want to actually be them and no one else matters. When it comes to spending, they spend on themselves. They do not mind hurting other people to get what they want. They are go-getters, and they do not become go-getters for all good reasons. It's all about them. They are so selfish. They are people who think that the world revolves within myself, and every other person is a shadow to them. Every other person is insignificant. They want success to be associated with them, and they want recognition to be associated with them. Narcissistic personality, at the same time, they have something we call chronological lies. What is chronological? They are lies that follow each other in a very systematic way, that their lies sound like the whole truth. And they are very good people when it becomes to understanding what to play around with your mind. When they have those lies, they will kill, and they will come up with fake tears. They will kill, and they'll have a strong defense mechanism. But it is important to understand that the fact that they may look successful because they fight for success. They may look like they are the only people who matters a lot. Within their inner person, they are hitting rock bottom. They have a bottomless pit that's literally they're emotionally empty. But there's that cover up that they want to work with, they want to work with. And life becomes a little bit tricky when it comes to handling such people, especially in life and death, and more so in relationships. They have very strained relationships. Another thing is that they are manipulators. They are manipulators in the sense that they will wrong their spouses, they wrong their children, they wrong the people they are working with, they wrong the neighbors, but on their way of defense mechanism and in their way of manipulation, they will even cry and become very emotional. They will really act cool when they are caught off guard, and they will literally hurt you. Yet they don't mean what is coming within themselves. They are very good in apologizing. They are very good in bringing sense in the mistake. But the key thing, within a short time, they enjoy when their families are hurting. They enjoy when their children are in pain. They do not give love that is unconditional. And they do not have a feeling towards another person. And that's why we also say that they are not empathetic. And what is empathy? Empathy is when you put my needs into your own needs. You put yourself into my own shoe. Because when you sympathize with me, it means that you are suffering with me and you cannot be able to encourage me. But the moment now they are empathetic, when we are empathetic, you are putting yourself in that situation the other person is experiencing. When you put yourself in that experience, you will be able to figure out the pain they are going through. You can imagine what the somebody is feeling. And the moment you have the feeling of what another person is feeling or going through, you will be able to understand that now this is not good enough. I need to have a behavior regulation. I need to have an internal power that can help me help this other person to navigate through their pain. But when now you see that they're lacking empathy, they even don't know how to love. And they think they love themselves because they're working for their success. But the truth of the matter is, they do not have that love for themselves. They're having a lot of deficit of love and coordination of their love. And it becomes a big, big challenge for them and significant others who are around them. And it becomes a little bit tricky when they lack empathy, because even when they lose their loved one, they do not know how to express emotions. They do not know how to tell somebody, I am sorry. They do not know how to walk a journey with somebody going through loss and grief. May it be a relationship loss, may it be death, may it be job, may it be anything. Loss is loss and pain is pain. The only thing is that we are able to navigate through the pain differently. How I can navigate through an emotional pain is very different from how you can navigate through a pain. And that's why it is very, very important to understand they lack empathy. At the same time, they are controlling. They use you like a remote control. They may tell you that I don't want you to wear that dress. They may tell you I'm not liking your shirt. They do not appreciate anything you wear. I don't like your hair. However you put it, because they want to control you. They will come and tell you, I don't want you to work with this person. I don't want you to call this person. At the same time, they're very good in stalking other people's social medias. They're very good in stalking your phone, and they can throw very severe tantrums when they find that you're not fitting into their trap. And therefore, it becomes a little bit complex when it comes to manipulation. Another thing is that they have that strong sense of self-admiration. And when someone has that strong sense of self-admiration, it is an indicator that they can divert all their resources to them. And they can be walking outside there to make people outside there happy at the expense of their family, at the expense of their happiness. And they can become very much addicted to alcoholism and substance abuse because they want to look like people's pleasers. They incur a lot of debts outside there because they want to look good in the eyes of the public. But within the inner circle, which is their household, you may find that they are very arrogant to their children. They're not providing for their children, and they enjoy seeing their spouses cry. May it be a woman, may it be a man. Unfortunately enough, narcissistic personality disorder, it is more prone to affecting men than women. But women, they are just vulnerable. A vulnerable woman falling in the heart of a narcissistic personality man, it means that with the vulnerability, she may think that I cannot be able to survive without this man. And that is why they keep going and coming back to a toxic relationship, to a toxic narcissistic person. And the pain continues mounting. And as much as we have pain, emotional pain, with unseen scars and unseen wounds that are bleeding, we find that these people, they tend to develop medical conditions as a result of cumulatively stressful issues that now operationalize within the internal environment of a person. It has now gone beyond the peripheral nervous system, where we use our 5 common senses, how we touch, how we listen and hear and interpret, how we taste, how we hear, how we taste, how we see, all those things. But now when it comes now to the autonomic nervous system, it has now gone to the internal environment. Therefore, already the mind has interpreted what you saw. Yeah. The mind has interpreted what you hear. Yeah. The mind has interpreted what you touch. Because when you give somebody a psychological healthy touch, it means that you are able to walk a journey with this person. You're not crushing them emotionally. You're feeling them. Come on, you are total. You're not giving the children a conditional love. Children come in our lives and they deserve to get unconditional love so that we can build their self-image, we can give them their self-care, we can build their self-confidence, and we can help them to overcome those attachment of pain of childhood experiences. And that's why you see most of our young people, when they are affected by now this parent who is very toxic, they may tend to fall victims of becoming toxic. It's good to understand that narcissistic personality disorder comes from the environment, and the environment is what we see with what we perceive with our 5 common senses. What we perceive, and now it sinks inside. When a child is given a conditional love, you must do this to get this. You must do this to get this. Right. You must do this to fit in my house. If you don't do this, I will kick you out of my house. Right. What happens to that child? He will be conditioned to obey the rules to a toxic parent who is so self-centered, who think about the world revolves with himself. Even a child at teenage, he has no words. Children are in this family, children are in my life to be seen and not to be heard. But a child turning 13 needs to be given a benefit of doubt because they are developing concrete thoughts so that we can be able to operationalize by following what they like and correcting their mind and walking a journey with them. And therefore, it is very, very important to know that a narcissistic personality, they have their dose of problems. But as much as we correct from the environment, there is also genetic composition. And if a child grows with unconditional love, they may grow without getting narcissistic personality disorder. But as much as it is in the genetic composition and the environment is well, this child can grow normally. If a child is in that category of genetic composition with a lot of challenges and a lot of issues with narcissistic personality, and the environment is narcissistic, this child automatically later in life may develop narcissistic personality disorder. And that is where you find that abusive families, they chronologically follow each other like that.
Oh,
yes.
Thank you so much. Because you were talking about parents who have the narcissistic personality disorders. Because, as children, it will be very hard to maybe go no contact to the parent, because maybe the children, they're living with the parents, and you cannot avoid your parents no matter what. So how can someone, or rather this is for the children who have parents who have the narcissistic personality disorders, how will they be able to should I say cope with the parent who's toxic? How can they handle a toxic parent?
Remember, as a child grows, the parent is the superior one. When a little boy or a little girl comes in the life of the father, the little boy sees the father as the God, or the parent, whether it's the mother or the father, as the God. And this child grows with instilled fear in them from the time they are small. They've seen their mother being punched right, left, and center. They have seen themselves being punched right and left and center. And we should tell parents that it is not always good that your children cannot approach you. Your children cannot reach out to you. The bottom line is, when now this child grows with a parent who is giving conditional love, yes, you must watch the cartoon. This is a little child. You must watch the cartoon. As much as we are going to control the children being brought up by the TVs, television sets, you must have eaten. That one is not a good drive because you're giving a conditional love. I will not buy for you chocolate because of ABCD. And then when the child now reaches the age of 6 coming upwards, this is a stage we refer to as the stage of industry. This is the child starting to develop and identifying what they want to do, growing their talents. And when the father finds this child, maybe for example, turning on the TV, and the reward is a punch, and the reward is a blow, and the reward is a lot of screaming and a lot of noise, the child will be affected when it comes to industrialization tomorrow. Okay? And this is where now you find that we are bringing a child who might have stagnating industrialization when we want them to grow. Where is this child coming from who is not industrious? Where did we go wrong during the industrialization in their concrete thoughts? Okay? To identify a parent who is narcissistic, actually, it is that a domineering parent. Okay? Unfortunately, when a father becomes domineering, he becomes very controlling. He becomes a man with chronological eyes. He becomes a person who is the only person who can be seen. Every other person in that family is to be heard. He's the only person who can be heard. The rest of the people are to be seen. If you find yourself a parent, when you knock at the gate and the children and your wife, children rush to their bedrooms to sleep, it's an indicator that you're giving them conditional love. You have instilled fear in them. And these children tend to run away from you and they disappear. They don't want to see you. And you think that you're doing well, yet you are building a very strong social wall that even when they grow, you try to reach them when you need them. And you'll not be able to reach out to them because you think you're bringing down the wall because of age. And yet, them, they have carried their wall with them, even after they grew feathers and flew away to go and stay on their own. Another thing is that these parents are not remorseful. Let's say, for example, a child stumbles and falls down. Maybe a young man, a little child of 6, 7, 8 years, climbs this tree, falls down, and breaks the leg, or has a broken heart. And the father tells him, suit yourself. The mother tells him, suit yourself. Okay? Is that parent remorseful? Is that parent empathetic? Not really. Okay? And the moment we don't empathize with their children when they are exhibiting characters of emotional pain or exhibitions of physical pain, and we do not, instead of sympathizing with them and walking a journey with them, we are quarreling them and fighting them, you find that it becomes a little bit tricky for them to be able to understand really who you are. And then you find that now a child turns teenager, turns in early 20s, or the young man has turned in early 30s, and the child comes to you as a father because you still remain the superior one. You remain my father, you remain my mother. There's nothing I can change about it. And you find that every time this person does, your child does, is to belittle him, telling him how useless he is, how much he does not think. There's nothing good that comes out of your child. Even if he was the last person in class and he has improved in the marks, how can you build this child instead of asking him, what do you think you will be tomorrow? I have no room for fools in this house. You're not building this child to improve in anything. He'll always be waiting for your approvals for him to work hard. Becoming hard on a child, belittling that a child at whatever age, may it be at a nursery school level, may it be at a primary school level, may it be at a high school level, may it be at a university level or in employment, or a child comes and brings a girlfriend, maybe it's a girlfriend from a family you don't like. Before the child brings a girlfriend, they have built a relationship over the time or over the years. And the moment now you tell him, I don't want to see you with a girl from ABCD. I don't want to be associated with the family of ABCD. That one is bringing belittling a child. And already a child has grown with low self-esteem. How do we expect to build the esteem of this person? How do we expect to bring forth a good person who can't be able to stand and speak for themselves? Okay? And that is why we are having so many of our young men currently, as we said about narcissistic affecting men. If you can find out so much of the children who are really committing suicide, they have maybe come from a toxic family. Maybe the wife is abusing their father, or maybe the father is abusing their mother. And you find that these children have grown in a battlefield. They have nowhere to pour out their feelings. They have no shoulder to lean on. And now when they hit rock bottom, the solution is giving an ultimate solution to themselves and an ultimate punishment to the parents. And therefore, it is important for every parent to understand a narcissistic in them and how much they are passing on the genetic with the environment to their children to have a low self-esteem, to have a no self-worth. And it can become so painful for these young people and for all of us and for parents. No parent want to lose their children. No child want to lose their parents. But now the moment you see that you are a child, your father is belittling you, you find that your father is giving conditional love. At the same time, they have a toxic relationship in the home. Toxic relationships are passed on for genetic reasons. And then you find that life becomes so complicated in such families where happiness is actually in the dictionary. Yes. What they can actually explain about is pain from birth to death. Yes.
All right. So, the children, so should they like try and solve issues with the parents, or how should they handle the narcissistic parents?
They may not be able to change. This is where now we tell young men who come to us to embrace serenity prayer. There's no way you can change your parents, okay? And your parents have stolen the ability for you to have that resilience, because you've grown with fear and low self-esteem. And this is now where we tell them to embrace serenity prayer. And serenity prayer tells us to understand what we cannot change and work with it. You are growing, you're not stagnating. And have a self-love, reflect on yourself, what you want from this narcissistic parent. But since you cannot change your parents, fix him somewhere in your life, how you will work with something you cannot change. But you can change yourself. You can change yourself, how you look at your father and what you want from him for a season, for a reason. Okay? From changing yourself, how you perceive his noise, how you perceive his words, how you perceive his negative inflicted words in you, or how she inflicts negative words on you. You change yourself and concentrate on what you want from this family. Unfortunately, when the young man is affected, he also has some energy when you hit teenage. But this energy does not just go wasted. And when our home becomes unbearable, this is now where our children are lacking resilience. They are lacking assertive skills or life skills, okay, to navigate through their pains. And this is now where they are indulging in substance abuse, because there is more comfort in substance abuse. Unfortunately, with the substance abuse, it will reach a point where it blocks your thought process. And it shows you that, how can I punish my parents committing suicide? You give them an ultimate punishment, and for you, you're giving yourself an ultimate solution to your problems. And therefore, it is important to embrace serenity prayer and understand the difference. I cannot change him, but I can change myself and understand that difference. And then develop that resilience, work with a parent who is cooperative, navigate this journey, and have a life worth living.
Wow. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Okay, apart from the parents, now let's go to partners. And this, when I say partner, it's either a husband or a wife, a boyfriend or a girlfriend. So sometimes you might find yourself dating a narcissistic person, either a male, either it's your boyfriend who's narcissistic or your girlfriend who's narcissistic. So how will you identify that your partner is And if you do so, how will you deal with that partner?
We normally say that it's better a broken relationship than a broken marriage. Okay? But what happens, as we have talked about the characteristics, the traits of a narcissistic, you will find that you have a girlfriend or a boyfriend who is actually demanding a lot of your attention, who is very nagging, that he wants just to be around, you want to be there with you, you want to stalk your phone, they want to know who you're talking to, whom you called, why you called them, they want to know who you chatted with, whom you did what you did. These are the people who want your total attention, and many other times you find that you're getting suffocated, but you're not able to remove yourself from that suffocation. Okay? You suffocated in it, but you don't know how to get out of it. Remember, we call relationships matters of the heart. No one understands matters of the heart because they involve the mind and the soul. Okay? Mind and soul. And that is where the unseen start. And you find yourself that you're getting tangled in an abusive relationship, in a toxic relationship. You're not happy in it, but you're not able to move away from it. You're tangled there with this person who is demanding so much, with a person who just wants self-admiration, with a person who wants you to recognize their smart, they want you to recognize their hairdo, they want you to recognize their makeup, they want you to recognize their new shoe, those small details. And the moment you don't recognize the small details to them, it becomes a big deal. It becomes war. But still, you're tangled there. Okay?
Yeah.
You find that when you have that person, they're giving you pain. You're experiencing a lot of emotional pain. And you find that when you want to talk about it, they are very defensive. Okay?
Yeah.
They are very defensive in the sense that they will always be throwing the blame on you. Okay? It's you who did that, it's you who did that, it's you who did what. And the bottom line is, fine, you did it. But are you able to meet somewhere and bring a solution?
Yeah.
Okay? At the same time, they have emotional abuse. Yes. And how is emotional abuse? Today they block you, tomorrow they are unblocking you. They're unblocking you a while, they stalk your page, and then they fight you with what they saw in your page. They will send messages that are abusive or they are directed to you to bring you back to them, to make you sympathize with them, because they are seeking a lot of attention from you. And the moment you find yourself unhappy in a relationship, that is the cardinal point to know that you are working with a narcissistic personality. If a person is hurting you in a relationship, what will happen in marriage? Suppose they are toxic and they are arrogant. Are you going to take the arrogance? Are you ready to be affected by the issue that they are telling you that, after all, you're not the only man, I have another boyfriend or I have another girlfriend? There are so many girlfriends outside there. That person is bringing you down emotionally. That person is belittling you, and you feel so small. You feel so affected. You feel so painful, and you really don't know what to do and what not to do. And therefore, it is very, very important to understand every unhappiness you see in a relationship will make you sick and die early in marriage. And I still say that it's better a broken relationship than a broken marriage. Seek help if you're not able to navigate through the emotional pain. It's only the individual who understands what they are going through in that. And it's good to understand that when you're in a toxic relationship, when you're dating a narcissistic person, it is important to know that because you are webbed, they are very good in webbing you, like a mosquito, like a spider web. Okay? And removing yourself from that web, it's a battle, because you'll be able to bring one round of the web and the second one, and as the spiral continues, you'll find yourself reverting back, and then you bring yourself back to the web. You want to run away and you go chasing after them. Remember, we said that each one of us, we have a clique of narcissists. How much have you become vulnerable that you're not able to detach yourself from a painful relationship? Yes.
All right.
A mismatch of a partner you have. Yes.
Wow. Okay. So, and So the best thing is if you are able to end the relationship or to leave, that's the only way to handle a narcissistic partner, by leaving.
Do you think it's easy to leave? Is it a walk in the park? Mm-hmm.
Kindly let us know.
Eh?
Let us know if
It is
it's
not
easy.
a walk in the park, living a painful relationship. But the moment you realize this is not what I want with myself, remember they are not aware that they are narcissistic. Okay? You can both seek help. You can seek psychological help. Because the beauty with narcissistic personality issues and disorder, the moment we can intervene and have psychological intervention, but if it has graduated so far, we can even get psychiatric intervention. This person can change because of cognitive behavior therapy. We just need to plant a change of thought in them, a change of perception, and they can now produce a healthy behavior that will not inflict pain to the other person.
Wow.
Yes. But the bottom line, counseling is the key. If it is not the key, remember, they are not also ready to be hurt. And we said in a toxic, not really toxic, psychotic, psychotic, narcissistic, they are arrogant, they are aggressive, and they can kill. How you leave a relationship, it has to be calculated before you lose your head. Before your head and your body are detached. Therefore, it is good to use healthy tactics. And if you are to make a comeback and you meet, ensure not meeting in a house. You meeting in an open place like in a hotel where there are so many people, and you have your way of taking you back home, not taking their lift or allowing them to drop you home. You will go missing because you never know whether you are dating a psychotic, narcissistic, who is aggressive, who can be a serial killer, who can only decide that if I'm not having you, no one is going to have you. And therefore, it is very, very important to literally know, how am I breaking this relationship that is not making me happy? But unfortunately, with webbed relationships, you find yourself taking yourself back to that house where you're facing death, where you're facing a lot of damage, where you don't know what lies ahead of you. And that's why it is very important to understand all those types of narcissistic personality disorder. Yeah. It's important, and you understand that, and removing yourself without telling somebody it is over. You just go removing yourself, making yourself busy, bridging the gap slowly, not waking up and saying, writing a message, it is over, it cannot work. That is the tabia of, that is the character of a young men and women. It's over, it cannot work, I don't need you in my life, I even have another person, blah, 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 blah. No. They have emotions that are very imbalanced, very delicate, and they can cause you harm because they don't think about the consequences after a bad action. They act and then think about consequences, and they start becoming remorseful, but some consequences are beyond repair. And therefore, it is very important to know, how am I going to remove myself from this toxic? Okay? Yeah. You seek help, the other person does not want to seek help, so that you can save your life and also save their lives, because if they don't kill you, they'll kill themselves. And you don't want anybody to kill themselves, and you are targeted in that death. You may behave strong in the eyes of the public, but inside you're crushed and you're broken. You're weak, and it might make you not even to dare date again, and you become a lone ranger, which is not very good. Yeah.
So you're saying that a narcissistic person can be fixed. There's a possibility.
They can be fixed with psychological support. At the same time, they can be fixed with emotional and psychiatric support. Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Oh, that's wonderful.
We can have medical intervention. We can have psychological intervention. At the same time, we can build strong ties. Sometimes it may need also to go to the family where each person is coming from. So that where a narcissistic person is coming from, so that we can also try to fix the family. Many of emotional pains are carried from the family line.
All right. Okay. thank you for the wonderful discussion. And I hope our viewers have learned something and they'll use whatever we've talked about to use it in life. And just to further talk about the narcissistic personality disorder, it is not bad to seek help. There's no problem with seeking help because the mind is a very powerful part of our livelihood. Like there's nothing as powerful as the mind. So if you think you have like a personality, narcissistic personality disorder, or you have been with a person with a narcissistic personality disorder, whether a parent or a partner, it's advisable to seek help so as to be able to help yourself out and to be able to be normal again, if I can say. So thank you so much, Madam Lucy, for this discussion.
Anytime, and thank you so much. I'm also happy to be here with you.
Okay.
It has been a good session. Actually, if we take this beyond this, beyond these 4 walls, and reach out to our young people, reach out to our parents, I am so sure we are going to help the society. We are going to reach out to our people, and we'll be able to understand people in their thinking process in a very diverse way. And I really appreciate the two of you, and I believe you're going to the system so very much.
Thank you too.